77. Which is right next 70. Well, shouldn't be too terribly busy. Welcome to base camp for the week of August 2nd. This is Moose Lake City Campground in Moose Lake, Minnesota, off of Moose Lake. See if that'll focus, but there is a pretty nice lake over there, which I intend to get a kayak on sooner rather than later. There we go. Now it's zooming and focusing. So this is quite literally a old football field. The campground was full for this coming weekend. There's a few sites available in there for the week, but I'm here to have a site for next weekend. I had to get the auxiliary dry spots. So there's literally just like signs, like just posted on the ground. Behind this, what I'm assuming is an abandoned school, based on the boarded up windows and keep out signs everywhere. Looking right at the sunlight, so I don't know how much you can see. Yeah, this is the auxiliary campground, but it's fairly expensive for what it is, but it's a place to camp for the week. I did a little bit more of an elaborate setup than I normally do. I had the awning out a little bit earlier, and the wind started flapping it pretty good, so I decided just to get out the canopy and stake it down. And as long as I had the canopy out, I had to fly the colors, go Hawks. But I went and put a picnic table cover on. Don't know why, but I did. Meanwhile, because I have limited fridge space, I am starting to cook up this thing of ground beef I bought. I'm just going to turn this whole thing into one giant pan of Maid-Rites, and then the leftovers I will just put in a Ziploc baggie, which doesn't take up much room in my cooler. And then whenever I want Maid-Rites, all I gotta do is just grab the appropriate portion. I'll just heat it up on the camp stove. So got that starting to cook. Got my chair out. There's absolutely no hookups here, so we're off-gridding it. So I got the 12-volt cooler. As you can see, I got the power station out. It is charging. I don't know if it'll focus on this or not. I mean, anyway, it's at 88%, 1.6 hours till it's full. Outputting 40 watts to the cooler. I have Starlink shut off right now because I'm not using it. Inputting 230 watts of solar. So I still don't know what's going on with my solar panels. I should be. The front one is producing about 140 watts. The back one's producing 90. Pretty sure the front one is the new one that I just replaced under RMA. So I don't know what's going on with this other old one, because it's only producing about half the power. Same problem as the one I replaced earlier. So I don't know what's going on with them. I did stake them down in case we get some wind, so I don't go flat blowing around. That's what happened to the last one. Wind caught it and twisted it and broke some of the connections inside of them, I'm sure. But anyway, yeah. So this is how I did it in Texas all winter last year too. When I had the pop-up, just solar panels going into that little bank and going into the Starlink dish. The only difference was with the pop-up, I kept the battery bank in my cooler inside the camper and just ran the cables for the solar panels through the fabric. But I really don't have much of a pass-through on here other than through the storage compartment here. So I think for now I'm just going to leave this stuff sit outside. That, and I'm trying not to get overly complicated setup right around the trailer. Because the whole reason for coming to this place is I have an appointment on Tuesday to hopefully get my black tank dump valve fixed. So That's one of the reasons I put the tent up and a few other things. So when I'm gone with the trailer, it still looks like I have a campsite here. Yeah. Yeah, this is home. Yeah. Well, let me store my meat and then we'll go walk over by that school a little bit. I've got it up low, so it's going to take a little while to cook, which is fine. I'm not overly hungry yet, and since they're made up, I'm going to eat dinner on it anyway. Yeah, as far as I can tell, this was an elementary school. Actually, I think it housed all the grades, and based on the weeds growing over the other side of it, too, I don't think it was, I think it's been abandoned for a while. I'll have to do some Googling, but it's nice out here. It's about 80 degrees. The drive in was a little bit of a headache. Yeah. Keep out, private property, no trespassing. The signage and directions around this campground were terrible. If you go through site number 67 or 68 over there, you can get back here. But the instructions tell you to come in off 7th Street, but they don't tell you which of these little driveways or side streets to go through. This is called Little League Road, apparently because of the ball field. It looks like they're going to have a game over there tonight. Yeah, I came up through there and was headed up towards that direction. And I'm sort of looking at the map and trying to figure out where I am and where I was and where I was going. And that's why I finally kind of looked over in this direction, because I thought, okay, this is part of the, I saw the goalpost. I'm like, this is part of the school. This isn't the campground. I'm like, oh, sure enough, it is the campground. Once I saw the post with the numbers on them, I'm like, oh, that's where I'm supposed to be. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh. I should be the only ones back here, other than the occasional Little League, so yay for not having people nearby. So I can sit and talk to myself on camera all I want. Anywho, that's it for now. I'm going to cook dinner and I need to make my bed. And yeah, it's kind of chilling for a while. Once I'm done cooking, I fully intend to get a kayak out there, so probably catch you later. Good morning. It's Monday, August 3rd, I think. It's about 7 a.m. Sun is just starting to come up over there. I just got back from driving over to use the bathroom. That's going to get old real fast, so looking forward to tomorrow and getting the tanks on my rig here fixed. But check this out. That is fog rising off the lake. That's pretty cool. So no thunderstorms overnight. I misread the forecast. That's scheduled for tonight. Forecasted for tonight. So I went through my whole bulletproofing exercise for nothing. Starting to get some stuff set up out here. I got the solar panels turned around, facing the sun. They work better when they face the sun. And I went ahead and ran a cord to the camper itself. I really wish I had a better pass-through system in here, because as soon as the camper's plugged in, like it starts charging the house battery, and then you know, certain things automatically come on. Not that they draw a ton of power, but like, you know, the microwave comes on, stuff like that. So not ideal, but I mean it draws a couple of watts. But you know, when you're working with solar panels that are only operating at 60% of the efficiency you would expect, every watt counts. So, oh well. So yeah, I'm just waiting for Starlink to get booted up. That power station, it's got an app, so I can monitor the battery level and the power consumption. Let me get my canopy up and going here. so I can monitor the power consumption and battery level just via the app, which is nice when I'm inside working. But I can't get the app to connect this morning. I've been having issues with it on and off. It uses Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So I've had issues now for a while where the Wi-Fi doesn't connect to it. When the Wi-Fi part, when it is nice when it's actually working, because you know, it goes via the cloud, so you don't have to be like connect to the same network to check its status. Because I've done that before, like when I was down in Texas, went sightseeing for the day, you know, and I left the power station connected to solar so I could see its recharge rate. Anyway, otherwise it just connects via Bluetooth, which is kind of slow to connect originally, but it does work. But the Wi-Fi's been having issues on that thing for a while now, and now this morning I can't get the Bluetooth to connect either, so I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. The little indicator on the front of it, which turns it on and off, because obviously any type of wireless protocol uses power, so you have the ability to turn it off. Anywho, that little indicator just sits in blanks. It I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it just blanks it like, I don't know, it's pissed off about something. There's probably a way to reset it. Probably like that little reset button there. I haven't monkeyed with it. So yeah, that's what's going on around here. Now that I'm de-storm-proofed, I'm going to get my bike out of the back of the truck and get it set up, and it's just sitting over here. Because throughout the day today, when I need to go over to use the restroom, is going to be much more convenient just to bike over there than drive the truck. So, anywho, that's what's going on here this morning. I should have a fairly light work day, I think. So, get some stuff done. And I pinned last night as I was sitting there. I didn't do any editing last night. I planned on it. I watched a couple of YouTube videos and then sat on Google Maps for a while pinning stuff. So I got a whole bunch of stuff pinned around here to do now for this week. So I also need to go in town and get a haircut. That's long past due. And then I got some hikes pinned and some more sightseeing too. So hopefully I get done with work early enough and go have some fun. Pick you up later. So quick update. This thing drives me crazy. Apparently its remote connections were all completely reset, or the last time I was troubleshooting it, I accidentally reset it, because you hold the button for 7 seconds, it resets it. So yeah, I just had to clear the device off my phone and repair it. So then it got working, and immediately popped up that there was a firmware update available, which means that it hasn't had connectivity in a long time. So my dumb ass, I did this when I first got the thing too. I completely forgot about it. I just hit update, like, so it's a firmware update available, you hit update. What it doesn't consider is that its internet source is plugged into itself. So during the update process, like, the BMS completely shuts down, so it stops outputting power, which is the Starlink. So then it gets like 17%, goes, uh-oh, my internet connection failed, and disappears. Like, why they wrote this thing in such a damn way that, like, the proper thing for this to do would be to, when you hit update, to fully download the firmware and then disconnect power from everything and apply it, do its reboot thing, whatever, and then turn the power back on and validate once it has connectivity again. But no, this thing, I swear, like, I don't know how many, I know why so many freaking YouTube influencers hawk these things, because they get paid really well to do it, I'm sure. But, like, for the most part, it works fine. It does what it's supposed to do. But it's some of this stupid crap, like these junk AP or these junk solar panels, like suddenly, with no obvious signs of damage, only putting out half the power they're supposed to. Like, these panels, I've ranted about this before on the channel, but I'm going to do it again. These panels are rated at 400 watts each. Each section should be 100 watts. So, like, last night, this unit, which is my original one, well, one of my original ones, was putting out about 60 watts. The brand new one that just got replaced under RMA because its predecessor was doing the same shit was putting out 136 watts. And granted, the sun was kind of late in the day, so, like, I wasn't expecting, but, like, the most I've ever gotten out of one of these is like 200 some watts. So I get a combined $400. That's absolute ideal, brand new, like South Texas on the beach conditions. Like, anyway, so yeah, you combine the crap solar or panels with this stupid firmware update issue. So it's just now stuck at updating. If I remember right, and from what I just read in the user manual, if it gets stuck like that, even though the phone app times out right away, like it takes that thing 10 or 15 minutes to realize its update failed and cancel back out. At least it doesn't brick it. Well, it didn't last time. Knock on wood, I hope it doesn't this time either. But I just, yeah, so the proper way to do it is you have to actually, I think the last time what I did is I plugged the Starlink. Just, my truck has a very small onboard inverter in the dash. It's like 8 watts or 8 amps, so like 80 watt total maximum or something like that. Maybe even less, maybe 70. I think last time I plugged Starlink, I started the truck and I plugged Starlink into the truck and let it run there so this thing could do its update. Otherwise, you just need to pair the power station to the hotspot on my phone so it can stay connected that way. But good grief. It's a good thing I woke up early this morning and decided to screw around with this stuff, and I'm not sitting here trying to work. Although I would have been smart enough not to run a firmware update on my battery if I actually had to be at work, but I got a little bit of time to kill yet. Anywho. So this stupid power station would not pair to my phone at all. I went into my phone settings and changed it over to 2.4 gigahertz instead of 5 because that power station won't support 5. And wound up getting super frustrated with the stupid thing. So I finally did the same thing I did when I was down in Texas. Plugged the Starlink. I just have it running out the emergency exit on the trailer here into the onboard inverter in my truck and let the truck sit and run. So that's the reason I'm doing this as a voiceover later, is my phone paired to the truck Bluetooth and therefore no audio. Yeah, ignore all my messy truck and cables, but yeah, it's plugged in under there, and yeah. This, I remembered when I was in Texas, I first went to Padre Island National Seashore, and I had 0 cell service there. So I didn't even have the option of pairing it to my phone to run the update that particular time. But yeah, it definitely didn't work here. But yeah, as soon as I got Starlink running off the truck, that update ran just fine and finished. So I guess all's well that ends well. But just kind of a what should have been a very simple, oh, let's run a quick update, consumed way too much of my time that morning in getting this thing to work. But oh well, is what it is. All right, time to head back to camp. It's right at noon. But went and got my hair cut. I no longer look like a ragamuffin like my grandma always used to say. And then I stopped at my favorite place. Seems like I live here, but I ran out of barbecue sauce last night making the made right, so needed some more of that. Bought an onion, and then I bought myself a new don't mind my mess of cords on here, but a new phone charger. The one I had in here was completely shot. I've never been so happy to pay $3.78 a gallon in my life, but when it's this cheap, why not? I don't even need a fill up yet. I'm still just over half a tank, but might as well. In my experience here the last few weeks, gas prices tend to go up between fill ups, not down. Although since I'm going to be boondocking all week, good opportunity to fill the generator and my little gas can. So if it stays cloudy and overcast like this and I'm not getting much solar, I can run the generator as needed. All right, back to camp now for real. All right, 1 o'clock. I'm back to camp. It's 86 outside, 89 inside. I stopped at Quick Star and got a sandwich and some cheese curds for lunch, because it's not like I have plenty of groceries around here that I need to eat up. Intermittent sunshine. The forecast is still calling for intermittent sunshine and clouds, and thunderstorms tonight, and it's supposed to cool off, be nicer the rest of the week. So it does look like that USB-C, I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell, is working, but this thing is actually taking a charge. and when I look at the app I see 4 watts being output USB. And overall we're up to 96%. We're bringing in at the moment 154 watts. So I just turned the inverter back on. So even with the sun behind the clouds, we're still getting some solar. I just turned the inverter back on. So Starlink is booting up. I have not turned my laptop on yet, so we're going to start going in the wrong direction here again very shortly. But yeah, that's what's going on around here. It is. Earlier when I rode my bike over to go use the restroom over there at the campground, I noticed that there's only like 2 people actually camping over here. All the rest of these appear to be, for the most part, like permanent, like seasonal rigs. Like, especially when I started looking, like some of these people have some pretty elaborate decks and grills and fire rings all stood up. So most people in here, I guess, are seasonal, and the rest of us not just short-termers are more rare. But anywho, on my way back I did stop at the RV place. I'm taking this to tomorrow. It's about 5 miles up the road for an next quick trip actually, and confirmed my appointment for tomorrow and talked to them a little bit. They told me, because she said they were basically going to squeeze me in on the schedule, so I didn't have a set time. So I stopped in there and asked, and she said they open at 8, so she thought 8:30 would be a good time for me to bring it in. So that's what we will do, 8:30 tomorrow morning. Other than that, don't know too much else. Go boot my laptop back up and see if there's anything interesting happening at work. It's a pretty slow day. I have to help write a scope of work, which is kind of falls in the other duties as assigned. I'm a post-sales engineer, but I tend to help out on a lot of pre-sale stuff. She cut my hair way too short. I said take an inch off the top, not leave an inch on the top. So, oh well. On a nice hot day like this, feels good. Well, the forecast was wrong, if you can believe that. It is currently 88 outside, heat index of 90. It's about 91 inside that camper. I am roasting this afternoon. Fortunately, the humidity isn't terrible, but it's definitely a warm one today. So yeah, I'm sitting outside because there's a pretty good breeze blowing through here. Actually, I had the front two stakes on my canopy anchored overnight, and earlier the wind lifted the canopy and then dropped it back down right up against the camper side. Scared the shit out of me. So all 4 of those are anchored, as well as solar panels. So we're anchored down pretty good now for some wind. I mean, it's not like super windy, it's just gusty every now and then, which feels good because it was hot. It's one of those days that this is why I spent most of my summer in full hookup sites, or at least electric sites, so I can run the air. It was only supposed to be like 84, 86 today. It's a little bit off. Oh well, it's fine. If we get these thunderstorms tomorrow, if we get these thunderstorms tonight, it's supposed to cool off for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm not as worried about it. The battery bank is at 100%. It's been at 100% for an hour or so now, so that is good. The full camper is just plugged in, so the house battery is all the way charged up as well. So yeah, doing okay. It's still not pulling in a ton. It's getting 220 watt. Like, I really, I had the laptop off for that hour and a half while I ran some errands, and here I've just been messaging with co-workers and project managers and scheduling for the last hour, so I shut the laptop off. I've just been doing that from my phone. So my power consumption is way down, which is what got it charged up. I really should be pulling at least 350 watt out of both those solar panels, and the fact that I'm only getting, and granted now, like, it's still a little bit overcast, but not really. Here, I can flip the camera around. Like, you can see the shadow, like, of the tent and stuff. Like, I'm getting full sun over there. So, I really should be, wrong button, that button, there we go. I really should be pulling at least 300, 350 watt, and yeah, it's pulling like 220. It's really annoying. yeah, those panels just, they annoy me. Because at 350 watt, I can pretty easily work with laptop, Starlink, you know, I can run a fan inside, you know, charge up devices and recover enough power from the previous night. So I run laptop and Starlink at night, it drains the battery down. So last night I went to bed fairly early, so I ran it down. I woke up this morning, it was like 76%. So I really didn't have a whole lot of catch up to do today. But on nights where I run the inverter off the battery until, you know, 10, 11, midnight, run the battery down 20, 30%, in order to charge that back up during the day, like, I need to be pulling in 350 watts, and this 220 ain't doing it. So I don't know what's going on with them. Like, it worked perfectly like the first month while I was down in Texas last winter, and then that one windstorm just threw those solar panels around, and the one broke, and I RMA'd it then after I got home. So like the good panel and the brand new one, like I should be back to good, and now it, like, if I didn't know better, I'd say I RMA'd the wrong one, but I tested them before I RMA'd them, so like I know I sent back the bad one, and so I don't know why this one's now acting up too. Like, I've deployed them once so far, and that was at Van Ripper, and like I've been extremely cautious. Yeah, I heard that about if there's any wind, making sure they're anchored down, so I know they're not getting flung around. So like that, and they should be they're portable panels, they should be somewhat durable. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna quit ranting about that now. I just went and got myself a fresh Mountain Dew, and I'm just gonna sit out here in the breeze and drink my pop and cool off, and my phone is now imploding with a group chat, so catch up on that. Yeah, I'll figure out what I'm gonna do later tonight. Something with air conditioning maybe. Yeah, full afternoon sun. I just rotated them, but 200 and I had 265 a minute ago. Oh, well, that's visible, but yeah, 258 right now. 265 is what I saw a minute ago. That's just ridiculous. So it was as long as it's this damn hot, I ain't going anywhere doing anything. Story time. I mean, it's so now I've got everything that has a battery with it charging. Ideally, I wouldn't have the camper plugged in the morning. I would just have laptop and Starlink. So what I did with the pop-up when I was in Texas is then once I got recharged back up to 95 or so midday, and if I was still getting good sun, or if I wasn't getting any sun at all and I knew I was going to have to run the generator, that's when I start to charge up battery devices. So I put a battery charger on the camper itself when I had the pop-up. With this one, I was just plugged in all day, so it's already charged up. But now I've got like those little portable power stations. So my personal laptop is plugged in, charging back up, because I used it a little bit last night just on battery. I had Starlink up, but I was trying not to run down the battery bank, so I just used the laptop battery for a little bit. So I got that plugged in, charging. I got my tablet sitting over here now plugged in, charging. Those little portable power stations charging up. So it was really interesting when I got down to Texas, and the first place I went was Potter Island National Seashore. It's the first place I went when I got down there. I'd never been down there, and a YouTube channel I watched had like a whole series of videos on Corpus Christi area, specifically Potter Island National Seashore. So that's where I went first, and immediately straight to off-grid, no cell service, and kind of had to figure it out and learn it. You can watch a million YouTube videos, but there's a learning curve to learning how to manage your power and learning, with the equipment you have, just how much power you can bring in from solar on good days and bad days, and then halfway through the trip, when your panels stop working the way they had been, and as well as how much power you use on stuff. Like, with that pop-up camper, I knew, because I had a pair of Group 27s on there, deep cycles. So they're still lead batteries, so you can only take them down 50%. But I knew exactly, and I never used water systems on the camper anyway, so I knew exactly how much lights I could run, how many times I could recharge like a phone off of them. So I had years of experience with that battery, but then learning, okay, with the Starlink and my personal laptop and my work laptop, and that 12-volt cooler, how much power does that stuff take throughout the day, and how does that, and figuring out the equation or the factors of, okay, this is how much power I'm bringing in, and then the whole overnight thing, like if I stayed up till 2 a.m. online, and ran that battery down to 20%, like, okay, how much power am I going to need the next day to recharge this thing, or do I have to run the generator? Yeah, it's a learning curve. So I'm not exactly out of my element up here because I did it for 2 months last winter. Because I never had hookups at all last winter. Everywhere I went with that pop-up was dry camping, with the exception of the very last site I stayed in Dallas, near Dallas, on my way home. I opted for a full hookup site there, specifically because I needed to, after I fixed the plumbing system while I was down there, because the plumbing system didn't work when I went down. It frozen a couple years prior. So after I got all the plumbing fixed while I was down there, I got a full hookup site near Dallas before I came home so I could re-winterize it. So I had electric for that one. But the whole rest of the time I was there for 2 months, no hookups at all. Other than I got in the habit of every 2 weeks when I change campsites, because most places you can stay for 14 days. So every time I would switch campsites every 2 weeks, I would spend a night or two in a hotel. Usually one. The one time I was there for like 3 days when that Arctic polar vortex, whatever, hit, and they got below freezing in Texas. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, yeah, so I got everything plugged in, charging. It's 3:30. I'm pretty much done with work, I guess, at this point. They're still trying to coordinate a work session with a client for, it's looking like it's going to be Thursday. I've got a bunch of things penned around here to go do and sightsee, but the vast majority of them are hikes. There's a whole string of waterfalls up north of Duluth, but honestly, it's too hot to go hiking. Like, it'd be one thing, like, if I'd been sitting in the air conditioning all day, it's like, oh, let's go outside and go hiking for a couple hours, but, like, just being outside in 90-degree weather all day, just kind of, it just wears you on you, drains you. So I've got zero energy. No mosquitoes here, but there are some flies. Zero energy really to go do anything that doesn't involve sitting or being in air conditioning. So I'm gonna take a pass on the hiking. I'm gonna go back through and look through my pens. I keep seeing signs around here for a Fires of 1912 or 1918 museum. Don't know what that's about. It sounds just interesting enough to make me want to look it up, but probably not interesting enough to go. So I also brought my tablet out, and I could have charged it inside. I brought it out. I was like, maybe I'll just catch up on some YouTube or watch. I downloaded a new show. I guess I could maybe start watching that this afternoon. I don't know. Alright, I'm just rambling now, so I'm going to stop talking and turn this off. Bye. Alright, 4:15 now. I decided to be quasi-productive. So in addition to just watching my favorite YouTuber, that's actually his Patreon, I decided to do a little editing. The flag whipping, 9 inches in front of my face was getting a little bit annoying, so went ahead and took care of that. And then I went over and closed up the back of my truck, so if it does start raining, I only have a couple of things there to pick up and put away. I'm mostly under canopy, so anyway, I'm just gonna sit here and do some editing, I guess. I don't even know how to formulate today into a video. Maybe it won't be. Yeah, the downside to working out here is if I want to be able to see the computer screens to either watch anything or work, edit video, whatever, like, I can't wear sunglasses. My sunglasses are polarized, so with the screens it basically just blacks them out. On the other hand, it's pretty ridiculously bright out, and yeah, hurts my eyes. See, these are the joys of living and working on the road that don't show up in most YouTube videos. Like, oh, you can work outside every day. It'll be great, except for the fact they're going to go blind. And when they get, how did that get, the wind literally, you can see it's coiled up at the top yet. Yeah, wind just yanked that down again. You know, some days. That wind has really picked up now. Keeps trying to blow my ton away. Never AccuWeather says it's going to rain in 6 minutes. I don't know. It's building, but I don't think it's building that fast. I really don't know what we got going on over here. They just started pulling up within the last half hour. That blue truck up front decided that she just had to drive through my campsite to get over there. Couldn't just pull in the gate and back in. Had to do a full loop around behind all my stuff. They don't appear to be camping, and all of these cars over there are now joining them. And we have rain and storms coming in, so I don't know. I don't get it. They're multiplying. I'm starting to think they're just tailgating before a Little League game. And now they've left all their shit to blow away in the incoming storm. Okay, so now we have loud thumping bass music going over there, and they're playing kickball. So this isn't a Little League game. Great. We do have one other neighbor. He pulled in this afternoon. He just got a little cargo trailer over there. He's been quiet. He said hi when he pulled in. Hopefully these people aren't here very long. Good morning. It's Tuesday, August the 4th. It is a brisk 59 degrees outside this morning. It's about 7:30 a.m. Got some storms last night. Looks like everything seems to have survived. I'm gonna walk over, use the restroom. Anyway, it's about 7:30. I have to have the camper over to the RV place at 8:30. And it's just 5 minutes down the road, so I've got an hour here to get everything packed up. I did a lot of packing up last night, you know, with the groceries and kitchen and stuff, so I got laptops put away, that kind of stuff, so that will help. This is the abandoned school. There's 3 teenagers walking around here with headlamps last night, which was a little bit suspicious. And then like 2 hours later, a deputy came driving through here right as I was going to bed. I slept pretty decent. When I first went to bed, it was still hot in there. It was over 80. So I was having a little bit of trouble sleeping when I first went to bed, but those storms rolled through about 3 a.m., really cooled things off, and then the temperature just dropped like a rock, and then I slept like a rock, so. Anywho. Her battery's down to 27, which is not great, especially because it seems to be kind of overcast today, so I'm going to set up the solar panels pointed in the right direction before I leave. And then when I get back, 27's enough to run the cooler all day while I'm gone. I have no idea how long I'm going to be gone. It could be an hour, it could be all day. Anywho, I'll probably have to run the generator when I get back. But that is a future Kevin problem. All right, I'm going to go and set these panels up, and then I'll get back to the conversation I was having a second ago. The fun part of setting up solar panels when you're not going to be gone all day is trying to figure out what angle you want where you're going to capture the most sun while you're gone. Because ideally they should be pointed right at the sun. But, so the sun is that direction, but it will, by noon, the sun will be over here. And it's overcast now. I don't know if it's going to sun up or not, but whatever. Pulling in 46 watt. Better than nothing. Okay. And then grab my backpack. Put the canopy up, trying to make it look like somebody's at least around all day. even though the truck and camper will be gone. Today just seems like going to be a couple of those days where, like, there's no sightseeing, there's nothing cool that happens, like, it's just work and chores. 8:20, just coming up on the RV place here. Oak Lake RV Sales is the people who are hopefully going to save my bacon today. Anyway, I just passed a Frito-Lay potato chip delivery truck pulling into Dollar General over there, and it reminded me of the, I'm not even call it a dad joke, because it's not really children appropriate, but the joke is, what did the potato chip say to the battery? I'm Frito-Lay if you're ever ready. I read that somewhere on the internet many decades ago. Every time I see a Frito-Lay truck, I think of it. I don't know why. Anyway, we are here. Not quite sure where they want me, so I think we're just gonna kind of park out front here somewhere. And we'll go get checked in and see how this goes. I think we'll just actually park back here because that looks like the service entrance. All right, wish me luck. Wish my wallet luck. I checked in. They've got the rig back there. I just talked to the tech about what's going on, what they need to do. So they're going to get started on it back there. But I'm going to look around at a few of these rigs. I have no intention of upgrading anytime soon, but it's kind of fun to walk through them. Quarter after 11, I just got back to camp. Camper's fixed, 500 bucks. Could have been worse, especially at 195 an hour, but looks like we got a little wind while I was gone. So, I wonder, is this thing completely destroyed now, or is it just kind of sideways? Doesn't appear to be destroyed. I'll have to get it dragged back over and anchored down. Solar panels blew over. Hopefully it didn't damage them. I really didn't think we were supposed to get wind today. Yeah, charged up to 53% though. Pulling in 140 watt off the front. Got them flipped back up at least. And now we're pulling in 352. Alright, so, alright, well. Full sun. Nice, those panels are finally doing what they're supposed to do. I guess it was a little bit overcast yesterday. Maybe that's why I was only pulling in 200 watt instead of 350. But I'm happy with 350. Yeah, 304. I think 346. Yeah, she's doing what she's supposed to. All right. All right, I'm gonna put the trailer pretty much back where I had it, but I need to move the kayak. So what are the odds if I swing her around here, around that post, that I can manage to hit my tires in line with those blocks I got down? I'm giving myself about 1 chance in 10. See, my neighbor left. He was only here for the one night. All right, this will be interesting. Close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, but it's not too bad. I did have to back up and forward a couple of times, but pretty damn close. I just need to back up a little bit because I'm sliding off the front end. I think that ought to about do it.
That'll about do it.
Let's take a look, see. I think we're on. You know Murphy's Law. Sometimes if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. I was moving the refrigerator and power station and accidentally set the power station down on the SIG plug for my fridge. So it's plugged into the 110 volt side, but this is a very specialty plug. It's not a catastrophic crisis by any means, but just an annoyance of one more thing I have to do this afternoon that I really don't want to. But yeah, we're almost back to normal here. Solar panels are out, battery and fridge is moved, canopy is up and anchored. I got the Starlink out, but I need to go inside and plug it in. You know, power is a funky thing. So I can't show you the app at the same time, but we're charging up here. It's at 67%. I'm pulling in about 325 watts. I mean, the sun keeps kind of peeking behind some of the clouds here. I did pull a maximum of 420 a little bit ago. It only lasts for a minute. It's averaging 350 to 375 direct sunlight, so they're doing what they're supposed to. Generator's not that big a deal. The rate we're going, I mean, we're getting good sun this afternoon, but it's also almost 2 o'clock now, and to still be below 70% at this hour of the day is not good. Granted, I've got both laptops in there running and Starlink on, and I'm running the fridge off 110 volt, which isn't efficient. But yeah, I got my personal laptop uploading a bunch of my YouTube video backup files to Google Drive, and so that's sitting there running. Obviously Starlink's up. I got my work laptop up because I keep bouncing in and out of meetings. Anyway, so I'm burning a lot of power right now as well, so not catching up very fast. So all that means I'll run the generator tonight for a half hour, 45 minutes around dusk, and be fine. Especially because I left the inverter running all night long, well, most of the night. And the one thing that's nice about the inverter on that battery bank is it does have a timer function in the app. So like I went to bed at 11:30, that YouTube video was still uploading and it was saying like 2 hours left. So I set the timer on the inverter for 3 hours, and 3 hours later it just shut down. And then, you know, my laptop, you know, when it lost AC power, went to sleep. And then obviously Starlink shut off. I'm gonna have to leave the inverter on all night long for the refrigerator, which is a bummer. It is, it's kind of rather breezy out here. Like, there's been some pretty good wind gusts. I even got, like, the wind's coming from that direction, so I parked the truck over there to block it a little bit when I'm sitting over here, but kind of breezy. It is nice though. It's nice. So it's 72, low humidity, partly cloudy, a little bit breezy. Tomorrow's supposed to be 80 and nice, not as humid. Never AccuWeather really doesn't give me very good wind information, but and then Thursday is supposed to be hot, like 86 again. I'm guessing the humidity is going to go up with it, so Thursday's going to suck. And then Friday is like, I don't know, lower 80s if I remember right. Yeah, not too much else going on around here. Just now that I'm done running all my errands, RV repair, and I do need to go over and take a shower here at some point this afternoon, but I've got a couple more work calls yet before the day is done, so I really should go do something interesting tonight. Just not sure what I want to do. I might, honestly, like, as much as I love going out and hiking and exploring, like, I'm kind of tempted just to take that kayak over to the lake over here again. I did like 20 minutes out there the day I got here, just because I started running in the truck all day and wanted to do something somewhat relaxing. But yeah, as nice as it is this afternoon, it's a little breezy this afternoon, so we'll see if the wind dies down tonight. Yeah, maybe 6 o'clock I'll go paddle for a couple hours or something. So really, it's the nearest hike I have pinned is an hour away, so that's a lot to commit to. And honestly, I'm just feeling kind of lazy. So anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna end this here and pick you up later. This dude over here mowing lawns has a neon green safety cowboy sun hat. That is hilarious. Alright, it's 4:30. I am off work. Battery bank is at 81%, pulling in 330 watts. I got all the panels turned around, so they're facing west now. One thing about being this far north is the sun shifts from south to southwest relatively quickly in the afternoon. So they'll be good in that position for most of the evening. I'll tilt them a little bit more vertical, I guess, as it starts to dip down behind that school. Apologize for the wind noise, it's a little breezy. Just got back from walking over to the restrooms. So then I got thinking. Usually it's a dangerous thing if I start thinking, but in this case it was a good thing. Like, I'm near Duluth. Duluth is a major city. Like, they should have Amazon lockers. So I went on Amazon and I found the cord I needed, and it's like 15 bucks, 17 bucks, whatever. And I can have it at an Amazon locker up in Duluth tomorrow afternoon. So I ordered two. Because this is actually my second one. Funny story. The first one, when I first bought this cooler, when I was starting to get things organized and loaded and ready for like the pop-up before I left for Texas last winter, I left it sit outside under the trailer, or so I thought, where it'd be out of the damn flies, where it'd be out of the elements. It wasn't. So the 12-volt cooler actually kind of filled with water and then froze, and I didn't realize that. And so I just threw the thing in the back of my truck when I left for Texas. And I got Texas, and like the bottom of the cooler was just this massive ice block. So I picked the ice block up and just chucked it out into the grass. And then I spent like 2 hours searching up and down because I could not find the power adapters for that 12-volt cooler. I'm like, God, don't tell me I left them at home. Like, what the hell? And could not find them. Like, went through the truck. I never had it in the camper because I ordered this cooler specifically for this trip. Like, what the hell did I do with them things? Like, I throw it out in the packaging? So I finally just ordered a replacement one. Got them Amazon locker delivery down in Corpus Christi. Took like a week to get. So I was using a regular cooler with ice for a week. That sucked. And got them. Started using them. No problem. And then about the time I was getting ready to leave, that's when I was still at the National Seashore, actually in the National Seashore. I was walking around my camp picking stuff up, and getting the solar panels all put away. And I find this like plastic package that has cooler adapters like out in the yard. I'm like, what the hell? Where'd this come from? And I thought about it. I could not figure out where they came from. And then it dawned on me that massive block of ice that I picked up out of the bottom of the cooler and chucked out on the grass contained the power cords. The power cords were in the cooler when it filled with water and froze, and they were part of that block of ice. Needless to say, having been part of a block of ice and completely submerged in water for months, I threw them out. I wasn't going to trust them ever, but yeah, so this is now actually my second set of power cords for this cooler, and the 12-volt one I just smashed earlier today. So now when these two new replacement 12-volt ones I just bought will actually be numbers 3 and 4. Apparently I'm hard on these things, like good grief, whatever. So anyway, that'll be tomorrow. So I will be going up. It's like 45 minutes up into Duluth, which is fine. So I'm going up there tomorrow. So I think I'll go do some. There are several places along the Lake Superior shoreline that there's a lakeshore path there. There's a harbor, and there's several waterfalls, including one that's on like a 2-mile hike, which looks pretty cool. I did sign up for All Trails today. They sent me an email with hello mosquito, time for you to die.
Prepare to die.
Thank you. They sent me an email the other day with 50% off annual subscription. So yeah, I'm now subscribed to All Trails for the year, which is cool. So anyway, I'm gonna go up there and do some hiking tomorrow. So that begs the question, what do I want to do tonight? It's gorgeous out here, other than a little bit breezy. So I could still go up to Duluth and go do a different hike, which it would be a good day for that. I could go do some kayaking. Don't really know. Yeah, we got cooler drama. So it's like, I mean, I think a lot of people watch like travel videos online, and I'm not this naive, and they're like, oh man, that looks like such a perfect lifestyle, like everything's so great. And what like most people don't realize, and like, granted I only do this part-time, but like there's always gonna be drama. So I went from tire drama to toilet drama to now cooler drama. It's not that big a deal. It's just you have headaches in life and you deal with them. Like, it is what it is. Like, it's not that hard. Fortunately, I've got the 110 volt plug for the cooler, so it's not like I'm having to run and go buy ice. That just means I have to leave the inverter on all night tonight, which will draw down a little bit more power off the battery, but it's charging up pretty good. I didn't think it. If the radio was charging this afternoon and the amount of power I was using this afternoon, I did not think I was going to get above 75-80% today, but it's still charging. It'll continue to charge. Now that I'm off work, I got my work laptop shut down, so that thing's a power hog. My laptop is much more efficient, so yeah. And the only reason right now I've got the Starlink on and my laptop on, because I'm not using them, is I'm trying to get files backed up to Google Drive. And ironically, Starlink is running at like 35 meg upload speed right now, which is unheard of. I've never seen it go that high. So like, I'm just sitting there letting my Google Drive just run. I was like, I got the power right now. So, and you know, if you know, I'll leave the battery and inverter on all night, I'll just have to unplug the Starlink before I go to bed. Because normally what I do is I just shut off the 110 inverter altogether at night when I go to bed. Because there's really nothing that needs to run on 110 because I leave the SIG plug on the cooler, so that just does that. So yeah, dude, that fly is annoying. So I also have to leave the inverter on all night and just remember to shut off Starlink so it doesn't sit and, unless I decide to edit a video tonight and leave that uploading again like I did last night. Either way, if the batteries are too low in the morning, I don't think they're going to catch up. You know, that's why I have the generator. Like, I went to Texas without a generator. I was hopeful that I would have enough solar capability to do what I needed to do, but I was fully anticipating and expecting needing to go buy a generator. And after about a week and a half, yeah, I went to Harbor Freight and bought a generator. So I have it with me. It's full of gas. I've got my little auxiliary 2-gallon gas tank or gas can that I keep with it full. So it's not that big a deal to run the generator if I have to. I don't like listening to it, so I prefer, like, you know, gas is expensive right now, but it's still cheap power for the generator. I just don't like listening to the damn thing, so I try to run it as little as possible. And especially when I'm in a quasi-ish campground. I mean, my football field isn't really a campground, but whatever. I just try to be respectful and not run it anymore than I have to. I'm rambling. So yeah, I just opened up a delectable caffeine beverage here. I'm gonna sit here and drink my pop and enjoy the breeze and contemplate my evening entertainment options and decide what I want to do. So catch you later. It's funny, as soon as you pick up the fly swatter, all the flies disappear. At least until I light the grill. That attracted them like, well, a barbecue did last night. I complain, but flies are much less of a nuisance than mosquitoes. I'll deal with the flies. They can be swatted. So sitting here swatting flies kind of reminded me of a story from my childhood. So when we were little kids, my sister and I, we'd usually spend 1 week a summer with my grandparents. In retrospect, probably because my parents needed a break from us. But a lot of times they'd take us some camping in their 40-foot Pacer motorhome for a night or two. Usually we go up to like Spook Cave or Osborne Center in Clayton County, Iowa, up near Elkader. Or once or twice we went to Jellystone Park, somewhere, I don't know where, it's in Wisconsin somewhere. And once we went to Richland Center for the country music concert series back when that was a thing. But anyway, we were camping one summer somewhere one night. I don't even remember where. And the entire campground was just swarming with flies. There was hundreds of them. Like, you couldn't hardly sit outside without just dozens of them. So Grandma gave me the fly swatter and told me to go crazy. Probably to get me to stop from bouncing off the walls of the camper. And so I spent like an hour swatting flies on every surface they would land on. Picnic table, Grandpa's leg, the front of the motorhome, whatever. And I probably killed 100 or 200 flies. I remember Grandpa looking at the front of his motorhome, just the hood just covered in fly guts. I'm sure he was really looking forward to scrubbing that off. But I got them all, pretty much all killed off, and we're sitting around the picnic table, either before or after dinner, and I was kind of bored. I'm like, Grandma, there's no more flies. What do I do? Yep, I managed to kill all of the flies. It was... Now that was a shower. Hot water and ridiculous water pressure, like massage on the shoulders water pressure. Like prime example of why you should always use a pressure regulator when connecting an RV to city water supply. That was awesome. The first stall I tried, I like this style better because at least all of your shit stays dry while you're showering. But that one, there's something wrong with the shower head. Like, it is spraying water in such a wide cone that you can stand directly underneath it and stay perfectly dry. Like, water's just shooting like all around. But that second one, yeah, that was massage quality. That was awesome. All right, I feel way better now. It's been a couple of days. I wasn't starting to smell myself yet, but it wasn't going to be much longer. I really noticed it yesterday before my haircut because my hair was getting like really super greasy. But then obviously my hair got rinsed out when I got my haircut. So then instead of showering last night like I should have, I just put it off until today. Also, prior to this morning, I did not know that bathhouse existed. I thought the only one was up and over there, and the showers up there looked even more disgusting than these. These weren't the cleanest nor the dirtiest campground showers I've ever seen, but yeah, campground showers. So yeah, back up to my football field here. Must not be any Little League games tonight. My dad asked me the other night when I called him. He asked if I remembered to bring a football with me and practice kicking my field goals. I told him I didn't. I forgot that.
Gary Anderson has missed a field goal for the first time.
He will always be known as the guy who was part of screwing up the Vikings' trip to the Super Bowl.
That, and there's a fence over there, so even if I made one, I'd have to go retrieve the ball from somebody's RV. Yeah, this is, I think I pointed this out in my earlier video, but yeah, this is literally abandoned school. I looked it up online. It flooded like really bad in 2012, and then in 2014 they got a bond from the state of Minnesota and built a new school somewhere else at the district owned land, and they've been trying to sell this place ever since. So it's been sitting abandoned for 10 or 12 years. I don't remember if it was 2014 or 2016 when the new school opened. Yeah, this was, obviously you got the basketball courts up there, and then this was the multi-purpose field. Funny enough, there's no upright over there, just over on this side. So I don't know if this was just an elementary and middle school, or if it was all 3 grades, or if they actually have a proper football stadium somewhere else and this was just a practice field. I don't know, but yeah, apparently the city park is now taking it over as additional campground space, which, I mean, it's better than me not being able to get a reservation here at all, because it was literally 5 minutes away from the repair place I went to this morning, so it worked out good. But like, in terms of is this the nicest campground I've ever stayed in? No. Is it nice having the field all to myself? Yeah. Back to my little hideout here in the shade. Grab my fly swatter, put my feet up, and go back to killing flies. Oh, there's one right there. Right on like such an old candle. See him? I kind of got him. He's dying. Oh, he got away. That's all right. I'll get him on the next try. I wounded him. So yeah, back to sitting here watching my solar input, continuing to contemplate the meaning of life, and probably more aptly trying to figure out what I want to do tonight. I don't know. Like I've just kind of got. It's just one of those days where like I really didn't do anything last night, but yesterday I was wiped out from the heat, so I really didn't feel like doing anything last night. I just literally sat here and edited video for hours, and that was fun. I enjoy doing that. That's why I make these videos. Lord knows I don't do it for the money, because I'm not monetized. I don't get any money off of YouTube. So I do it because it's fun. So I didn't mind sitting and doing that last night. As far as tonight, like it's nice out. I just gotta decide what I want to do. I'm kind of like if there was a really cool hike like nearby, I know there is a little bit of a trail over that way, over by the lake here. It just doesn't look great. I kind of feel up for a little bit of hiking, but I don't want to drive an hour and 20 minutes up northeast of Duluth to where I've got those trails pinned. And I did spend a little bit of time here earlier looking around this immediate area on all trails, but I really didn't see anything that's like, yeah, I want to go check that out. Like I don't look at hiking trails just to go hiking in the woods. Like I want to go see a waterfall, or I want to see something scenic, or like the gorge last week. I mean that was just awesome. I don't want to just go hike out in the woods for the sake of hiking out in the woods. So yeah, I kind of feel like if there was something with a nice scenic hike, I wouldn't mind doing that. But I just don't have it in me to spend 3 hours in the truck driving to Duluth, northeast of Duluth and back for a hike today. Especially because I have to go up there tomorrow to go pick up that Amazon package. So I'll do all that tomorrow. I might just go kayaking out here on the water. The only reason I'm not just throwing the kayak in the truck and doing that right now is, as you can tell, it is still a little bit breezy, and it's not the water is choppy over there. It's just when you've got this much, it's nice today, but it's not super hot. It's literally 80. So like tomorrow would actually be the better day for being out on the water, because it's going to be super hot, 86. But I'm going to Duluth tomorrow. So yeah, it's just it might be not like uncomfortably cool on the water, but it just doesn't feel like ideal. So I'm just kind of in this weird funk between several mediocre options, and nothing is just jumping out at me yeah, I want to go do that tonight. So I might just sit here and make some food and edit video. There's nothing wrong with part of camping is relaxing and enjoying myself. I could just sit here and read, I could sit here and edit video, I could sit here and watch a movie. Sometimes I have to remind myself that while I'm on these trips, it's okay to just sit and relax. I don't have to be doing the next adventure every night. This is 2 to 2.5 months of epic road trip, I'm seeing a lot of cool stuff, and I'm having a ton of fun. Not every night has to be an adventure. There's nothing wrong with relaxing too, all right. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go grab my laptop and do a little bit of editing in the meantime while I make up my mind what I want to do. That's the ADHD in me. I cannot sit still. As much as I love just sitting here and enjoying everything, I cannot sit still. I might have a fire tonight. Squirrel. Yeah, actually, I kind of like the idea of that. It is cool enough today. It's going to cool off tonight. It's supposed to be down 48 tonight, I think. It'd be a good night for a fire. I might just, I think I'm formulating a plan here. I'm going to drink my pop. I'll sit here and do a little editing for a little while. I'll cook some food. I'm kind of thinking I want pancakes for dinner. I bought those fresh strawberries the other day. They smell delicious every time I open that cooler. So I might just make some pancakes for supper and edit video for a little while, and then build a fire tonight. This is starting to sound like a plan. I don't have to go anywhere. I can just kind of sit, keep my feet up, relax. Nice relaxing night. I think we got a plan. It's 7 o'clock. It clouded over for a little bit, but still getting some pretty good sun here. I'm at 7. There we go. Yeah, it clouded over for a little bit, but I'm at 87% charge. I'm still pulling in 250 watts power. Only putting out 96 at the moment. The refrigerator's not running. All I got is Starlink and my laptop going, but sun will be down before too long, but yeah, they're lit up. I just adjusted the positioning a little bit since the sun's getting lower in the sky. Raised them up, and yeah, anywho. I'm just sitting over here, had a little snack, drink pop, and I'm working on some editing. Yeah, it's cooling off though, down to 74 outside, 77 in here. So I'm going to go ahead and put on some sweatpants because with the breeze, it's a little bit chilly just sitting outside. So I put on some sweatpants, grab my sweatshirt, and I'm definitely going to do a fire once that sun goes down. But for now, we're going to sit and soak up that solar. Okay, so I just did a whole lap around the school, including the Little League or high school baseball game over there, and narrated the whole thing. Got back to camp to look to see how long the clip was, and I wasn't actually recording it. So I feel like moving around a little bit more, so we're going to do this again. We'll do it live.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. No. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
So like I mentioned in my other video, when I got to this campground, the campground extension where my campsite is the former multi-purpose field, football field, whatever. And you got baseball back there. There's also a baseball field over here with an active game, including some guy over here hooting and hollering and making way too damage noise for my liking. But this little building here, I've learned, is the elementary school. And based on the color difference between the bricks on this building and the main building, I think this one's a little bit newer. There's a sign up here that says 1988 on this. But like these windows are kind of like half-ass boarded over, but there's a lot of broken ones that are not boarded over or not completely boarded over. It's like you can only imagine the wildlife that have moved in and taken over this building. So yeah, this is the elementary. 1988. Well, in the time it took me to walk around this, the score went from 18-4 in the third inning to 23-4 in the third inning. That's a hell of a foul ball. Yeah, you can tell. So yeah, this is the old building. There's a slight difference in the brick. The sign here says Moose Lake School, so I assume this is combined junior, senior high school back in the day. It's probably all three, and then they added on the elementary school in '88, be my guess. Bad. No upkeep at all. As I mentioned in my video the other night, I looked it up online. There was a bad flood in 2012, and then 2014 or 16, they built the new school and moved to it. So this has been sitting abandoned for 10 or 12 years. You can tell they're just not doing any upkeep on it at all anymore. I read online that they tried selling it for a couple of years, and a small town like this couldn't get a buyer, so I imagine that at this point they're just letting it go. I mean, you can see vandalism on the inside of these windows, so there's still people getting in. You know, doors are chained and boarded, and they've made some attempts here and there to keep people out of it, but I'm sure teenagers are still getting in here. The other night, I saw a town police squad car go through the parking lot with the spotlight on, shining at the building. There was 3 teenagers walking around here with headlamps. I don't know if somebody called it in or if they just routinely do patrols around here. Yeah, they're pretty much zero attempt at doing it maintenance on this. Lots of broken windows. Over here's Campground. That little building right there is the office / concessions. So it's open 2 hours a day, and then the bathrooms are straight through there where that guy's walking. This is a little shortcut I've been taking to come out and use the restrooms until I discovered the other restroom on the back side of the campground. Yeah, more vandalism on the windows. That's a broken window right there. See, I'm starting to think like even these garage access doors, they've just like ran some boards and screws into them trying to keep people out. I'm kind of starting to think that the boards on the windows over on the elementary school over here are less about keeping the building sealed up and more about people using them as an ingress point to get into the buildings. Because like none of the second and third story windows are boarded up at all. And like that one right there, that window is just almost completely gone now. This garage right here is city. When I walked over to use the bathroom this morning, the city guys keep their lawnmowers in there, and we're getting ready to start the day. Yeah, 2012 was the big flood. It would have had to have been the lake, that I would assume. I was reading that lake is fed by 3 small rivers, and then there's one river that outflows out of it. So there's no dam on there. It's not a spring fed. So it's fed by rivers. So I guess if they flooded, then that lake would flood. I mean, there's no slope down to the water. So that makes sense why these buildings flooded. I kind of got the impression from the article, it didn't go into too much detail, but that these buildings had flooded multiple times, and 2012 was just the worst one. So anywho, in case you ever wondered what an abandoned school looked like, now you've seen it. And then over here is just the multi-purpose field that has one goal post and a baseball diamond. It's now used for Little League and campground expansion, apparently. Well, obviously back to camp here. Sit down, do a little more editing, and wait for the sun to go down to build me a little fire. And maybe at some point cook some dinner. I think of pork chops tonight. I was gonna do the pancakes with the strawberries, but now that I've walked around this building twice, left my door open, I'm gonna have a whole camper full of flies. Anywho, now that I've walked around the building a couple times, I've kind of worked up a little bit of an appetite. Now I'm kind of thinking about pork chops. How are we doing on power? 89% power. Still pulling in 130 watts. So out of curiosity, since these are partially shaded, if I kick these all the way down, all right, well, that one is still just a tiny bit shaded, but what's that do to my power? Significant, 154 coming in now. Well, alrighty then. All right, I'm gonna sit back down over here and get back to my editing. Catch you later. I just got back to camp here and was doing a little bit of reading on this school building. So what I've learned is the original school for this area burnt in 1935. And so in 1936, the original building was built that housed all three elementary, junior, and senior high school. Over the years, it was updated and expanded. So it looks like in the early 70s, they had a gym, home ec, locker rooms, kindergarten, and bus garage. And then in 1986 is when the elementary school wing was added. That included lunch facilities, science, computer classrooms, and an elevator. Even though it said 88 on the front of the building. 86 may have been when construction started, 88 opened or something like that. So the June of 2012 flood was kind of what killed it. There have been multiple floods here before from Moosehead Lake, as I had figured. So after 2012, FEMA funds helped repair it and get it to a point that it could open.
This is the art room. Looking down towards the shop area. This is a storage area for books.
But the school district said they needed another $12 million to fix the roof, HVAC, some electrical problems and stuff like that. So there's multiple bond efforts, and then they finally, with the state agreeing to pay 60% of it, voters approved in 2014 then the new school. And so that's when the new one was built. Construction began in 2015. They moved into it in 2017. So after the move then, this building was put up for sale, and everything that was left in there was auctioned off. So this has actually been sitting vacant for 9 years, not 10 or 12 like I originally thought I'd read. So yeah, it's still sitting vacant back there. The city has acquired some of the land around it for redevelopment of some single family and townhouses. Obviously the city park has acquired what used to be the practice field. I guess there's an actual football stadium around here somewhere that is still original, that they still use. That's not even at the site of the new school. This was just practice field or whatever. So this is part of the city campground now. So it sounds like the city has been, well, it says here, 2023 proposal sought funding to add 21 new campsites here for RVs and tents, upgrade the bathhouses, build a new office and garage, citing their high demand and wait lists. However, it doesn't look like that's ever been approved. So the city got the land here, and it looks like, threw some picnic tables and fire rings out here and called it dry camping, even though they intended to expand it and add all the facilities like the main campground. So yeah, that's kind of what I've learned here in my research. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, the old building is still deteriorating. There's been nothing reported in terms of like any efforts to maintain it. In fact, there's actually been some complaints that the school district is not doing anything to maintain this building at all. And there's been a few incidences of vandalism and people going into the building. News articles are saying that the building is considered unsafe with mold, asbestos, and floors collapsing in places, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, the school district's doing nothing to maintain it. And as of last year, despite the poor condition and the surrounding land being reused, there's no current plans to demolish the building, although the summary states that that's about the only option at this point. I guess the city is landlocked, and so there's going to eventually be a demand to redevelop this plot of land, so it'll be demolished at some point, especially since there's no upkeep on that building at all, which kind of confirms my suspicion when I was walking around that the boards over the windows are less to maintain, especially if the roof is shot. Yeah, it's less about keeping critters out and more about trying to keep trespassers out. So very interesting reading here, as well as I'm sitting here in the former football practice field. Oh, this is cool. I'm gonna have to link this video, but there's actually a video on YouTube of somebody going through this building 1 year ago. That's awesome. I'm gonna sit back and watch this. I wish I had popcorn. Okay, I'm 2 minutes into this 41-minute video about this school. A bunch of urban explorers that did a walkthrough of it, and this is creepy as shit. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Second time I've seen a sheriff's deputy patrol through here today. Alright, it's about 9:30. Got my fire going. It's already down to 61 degrees. We're going down to 44 tonight. So here in a little bit. I've never tested the heater in there. The off-grid heater anyway. The one that uses the battery for the blower and propane. The last time that it got fairly chilly on this trip, I was at a site with full hookups, so I just ran electric heat for the night. So I may have to test that system and see how well that works. I do not have a buddy heater with me, so if that doesn't work, I do have a pair of long johns in there and plenty of blankets, so I will survive. But I'd be more comfortable with a little bit of heat tonight, I'm thinking. So, but anyway, I'm gonna let my fire go here for a little bit and enjoy that, and see if I don't get eaten alive by mosquitoes. The thermocell is lit, but she ain't doing much, at least so far. There's a little bit of a breeze, and they don't work as well when there's a breeze. So anywho, I did finish the video on Creepy School. All 44 minutes of it. It got creepier as it went on. And then I started a video that was taken by somebody like when the flood was happening, with all the water in the basement. So very interesting material, that's for sure. Anywho, that's all that's going on for now. I'm just gonna enjoy my fire and go see if I can get some heat going. Catch you later. All right, it's 10 o'clock. I do have heat in the camper. Took me a little bit to get her going. It's got a central thermostat, controls the air and the heat. So I turned my propane lines on, went in there, set it to heat. Right now it's at like 71 in there. Because that camper is fairly well insulated. It's got a thermal package. So I set it to like 74. I heard a click up front, but nothing happened. Like the blowers weren't starting. There's no heat coming out of anywhere. It's like, what the hell? So I cleared off the stove because I've been keeping just all my groceries in those two little crates on top of the stove. So I cleared off the stove and lit the stove, and that lit right away. I'm like, okay, well, I know I've got gas at least this far back. Because I always used to have issues with the pop-up with the stove in there and the heater when it worked. The cell switch on the heater on the pop-up went bad on me, so it doesn't work anymore. And even the old Coleman was the same way. But the lines, you know, when the propane had been shut off for a long time, the lines just have air in them, and it'd take a little while to get propane in all the lines. But that wasn't the case. Like, I had propane all the way back. Like, what the hell? What the hell? So I get the flashlight out and walk around the perimeter of it. And like, I don't see, I mean, there's one small little vent over by the refrigerator, which I assume is the heater vent. Because I know which one's the water heater vent. I know what's the refrigerator vent. Like, well, the only other thing over here would be stove and heater. Like, that ain't it. So I'm kind of looking around. And ironically enough, the fuse compartment is right below the stove. And the little access door for it does not stay shut. So it's always open. So all the breakers and fuses are exposed. And like, something just happened to catch my eye, this red light in the fuse panel. I'm like, I don't remember seeing that before. And I look down there. And it has the detection that if like something's trying to draw power and it's not getting through a fuse, like it lights it up. And I'm looking at it, like there's a fuse missing. It's number 4 fuse. It's completely missing. And I go down there and I look at the thing, number 4 furnace. So at some point somebody pulled the furnace fuse, probably to use it somewhere else for a different fuse they blew, because they weren't using it in the wintertime. Thinking like, oh, we don't need the furnace, we'll just borrow this fuse for a while. So fortunately I have a whole box of fuses in there. So I turned the furnace back off, stuck a fuse in number 4, turned the furnace back on. It lit right away. I heard it, the fan fire up underneath the refrigerator, just where the fan is, or the blower. And waited about 20 seconds. I started feeling warm air come up through the floor registers. Because the way the heater in that one works, so like my pop-ups just had this little, heater unit just, you know, in a cabinet that vented to the outside and just blew straight out kind of towards the floor. And, you know, the problem with that is, you know, the main cabin of the pop-up would get nice and warm, but the bunks would not, because there's nothing to actually push the air out. So I just used a little USB fan in those pop-ups to push the air into the bunk ends, which then immediately went through the fabric and out. Heating a pop-up is not all efficient, but it's better than freezing. But anyway, so with this one, because it's got thermal package, the way it works is the furnace and blower are, you know, in the cabinet underneath the refrigerator, but the heat actually then blows through some ducting that runs underneath the camper in the insulated bay there, alongside all of the water lines and the water tanks. So that way your water lines don't freeze in the wintertime when it's the thermal package is designed to be used in colder weather. So then, yeah, the heat blows down underneath the camper, you know, alongside all those lines, and then blows up through 2 registers in the floor. Which the downside of those is those registers always are full of crap, because, you know, crap falls down through them on the floor. But anyway, it was blowing hot air, so I kicked the thermostat back down to 60, because I really, you know, that's as warm as I really need it to be in there. And it shut off then right away. So anywho, long story not so short, I have heat, but for the time being, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy my fire and stay warm out here this way. I'm debating though, the battery bank is at 78%. I unplugged the camper from it a while ago when I was done with my laptop and done with Starlink. I've only got one group 27 hooked up to there, so the blower and ignition for the furnace has to run off that battery. I mean, it's fully charged because it's been plugged in all day. And a group 27 should allow you to run a heater for 1 to 2 nights. So I'm debating though whether to let it just deep cycle the battery. The other problem is I don't have a really good battery monitor on there. It's got the built-in one. I don't know how accurate that is. I've got a multimeter in the truck, but I'm considering just plugging the camper back in for the night. So that way basically the furnace runs off of the power station instead of just the single deep cycle on the front. That's one of the reasons I always keep a pair of group 27s on my camper. That way you can run the heater all night for 3 or 4 nights before you need to figure out a way to recharge it. But I don't have a shortage of power. I just have to decide how I best want to use power tonight. So, inside there right now, you see a little light going. It's just a little, it's just a little USB battery lantern I have. The overhead lights in there are not, well, I think a couple of them are LED. Oh, they're not power efficient at all. So that little rechargeable lantern is much better use of battery power than I can recharge during the day. Try to be kind of smart about some of this stuff. Maybe I'm a little overly conservative, but only once while I was down in Texas did I come dangerously close to running out of power. The battery bank was down next to nothing, and I didn't know what the camper batteries were at, because my new pop-up doesn't actually have a battery monitor on it either. My Coleman did. I installed one, but I don't think I ever got one on the new pop-up, the Rockwood. So yeah, I didn't know what, and like, you know, I wasn't as worried about that because the furnace in there didn't work anyway, so I was using a buddy heater for heat. The few nights I need heat. But anyway, yeah, I was coming dangerously low on power. It had been overcast for a couple days. I wasn't getting shit for solar. That power station was down to like 20-some%. And the first generator I had, this is actually, the one I got now is my second. I had to return the first one. Harbor Freight's return policy on that was pretty easy. The only pain in the ass was draining all the gas and oil out of the damn thing before they'd take it back and exchange it, because I was within 90 days. But the I learned the hard way when you're on the beach to run those keep that generator like up in the truck and not like down like on the beach, because I just had it sitting in the sand like down behind the camper, and the air filter on those Harbor Freight Predator generators sucks. It's awful. And so basically, as it was trying to suck air in, it was sucking sand in, and sand was getting in, through, and around the air filter, and sand got into the carburetor and just killed it, and it wouldn't run anymore. So yeah, that was the first generator. That one lasted all of a week and a half, and that was right around the time the batteries were getting low. Yeah, it'd been a couple of like cold days, or maybe not cold, but it was definitely overcast. I wasn't getting solar. Battery bank was getting low, and I went to fire up the generator, and it wouldn't run. And I was troubleshooting it. I was like, okay, well, I'll take the air filter off. Maybe the air filter's clogged or dirty or something. And that's when I found all the sand in behind the air filter. I'm like, oh crap. So with the assistance of AI and a couple of diagrams, I figured out, okay, sand got into that carburetor, and that carburetor shot. So it went back, and I got another one. And then brought it back to camp that day and just made sure I always ran the generator off the tailgate of the truck and ran extension cord over the battery bank, which was inside the pop-up, and recharged that way. And then like a week later, I went to use the generator again, and my new one wouldn't start again. I'm like, what the hell? Don't tell me this thing got sand in it. Like, I was very careful to like make sure that like the way I had it positioned on the back of the truck, like the air was getting drawn in like from underneath the tonneau cover, so it wasn't just like drawing, if the wind was picking up any sand like out on the beach or anything like that. Like there's no way it got sand in it. And so I open up the air filter and the air filter compartment, pull the cover off, go to pull the air filter out, and like I go to squeeze the air filter like a sponge, and like water just drips out of it. Like there was that much moisture in the air right on the beach there that air filter just absorbed it like a sponge and was basically sucking water into the carburetor then, so it wouldn't run. So I had a roll of blue shop towels in the back of the truck in my tool bag. So I took a couple of shop towels and folded them over and poked a hole in it and screwed it into the housing, and had a couple of shop rags and act as the filter, and it fired right off, and it ran fine to charge back up. But yeah, that was some of my generator fun down in Texas. I tell you, that trip down there last winter was a real lesson in off-grid living. Because I did not have, I think I've mentioned this before, but I did not have a single campsite except when I came home. But I spent a couple of nights near Dallas on my way home that I had hookups. Everywhere else, but the entire 2 months I was down there, when I was camping, 0 hookups. I was anywhere. When I was at Lake Corpus Christi, they did have water there, but the plumbing system wasn't fixed yet. So the nice part was that I could just go over and wash my dishes on the ground. But so I did have some water there. But yeah, the whole time I was out on the beach and in the national seashore, yeah, no hookups at all. So I lived and worked with no hookups for 2 months, or with no grid power, except when I went to I got in the habit of every 2 weeks when I moved camp, just going to a hotel for a night, and that really reduced the stress of having to tear down the entire pop-up camper, move campsites, and then set back up in the same day. So I'd tear down, I'd go to a motel for a night. There was a little bar nearby that had the best chicken wings I've had in like 12 years. So I'd go over there, have a couple of Miller Lights. It was right across the street from the hotel, so I could have more than a few if I wanted to, and some wings, and spend the night in the hotel. The hotel had laundry. It was like $4 or $5 a load, so I could get my laundry done if I needed to. And then like my little portable, those little portable power stations I use for my phones and stuff. I could recharge those. I brought the power station in once and charged it back up when it was low, but that was kind of unnecessary because at that point I had the generator pretty reliable. But and then I could also take a hot shower, because most of the time the showers at the National Seashore is cold water. At the state park there on Mustang Island, where I stayed for 4 of the 8 weeks I was there, they were lukewarm showers, so still not the most pleasant. So anyway, hoteling it for a night every other week, yeah, give me a chance to do laundry and actually take a proper hot shower, and I could charge up batteries if I needed to. But anywho, long story not so short, it was a real lesson in off-grid living. So it's basically the same thing I'm doing here now. I intended to off-grid it most of this summer. It just so happened that most of the places I stayed in Michigan either did not have primitive campsites, or if they did, they were so deep in the woods that there's no way I'd get solar or Starlink. So this is the first place I've been to this summer that I'm really off-gridding it. So it's taken a couple of days here to kind of get back into the groove of power management and remembering every couple hours to go rotate the solar panels to track the sun and some of that kind of stuff. Trying to stay cool with just a couple of USB fans when it's 90 degrees, and nights like tonight where it's going to be down in the 40s, making sure I've got heat and a mechanism. With the pop-up in Texas with the buddy heater, like there was no fan on that at all, so like it just ran. With the nights and with the pop-up, like I leave the propane tank outside and just feed the hose up through the tent fabric, and then the buddy heater ran inside because that pop-up leaks air like basically like a screen door. I didn't have to really worry too much about ventilation. I still obviously had a carbon monoxide and low oxygen alarm in the camper when I was running it, just for safety, but really didn't have to worry about that too much. So I keep the propane tank outside, and the buddy heater would run inside. And those buddy heaters, they draw their air from inside the camper, so you really do have to watch the low oxygen. Whereas an actual proper RV furnace draws its air from outside and exhausts outside, so they're quite a bit safer. But yeah, this is kind of a little bit of a refresher course, being here behind my creepy ass abandoned school and living off grid again. It's kind of fun. I enjoy it. I've talked before, like, tent camping was always primitive, no hookups, and this is as close as I can get to my camping roots for having a trailer, and still being able to make a living, It's a nice night out. My camera sucks at picking up stars, so yeah, it's not getting anything, but there are a few stars out, quite a few out actually, for being in town. Some of these logs are burning better than others. This top one doesn't really want to burn worth shit. But yeah, the fire's nice and warm. It's not that cold out here yet. It's only down to upper 50s. It's going to get worse overnight, but yeah. Anywho, this clip is long enough now. Been yammering on for 16 minutes, so I will put the I'll put the camera down. This will probably not be my last update, but if it is, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. And next time may be in, literally 3 seconds for you. Bye.